Welcome back to another episode of the Natty Teacher. I'm your host, the Natty Teacher. And today, before we get into our training footage, which today we do have our first leg day, our leg A day, which is our more quad bias leg workout. So focusing a lot more on the quads. We still will hit some quads on Friday, but really, our bigger movements today, squatting patterns, leg press, that kind of stuff. And of course, some extensions in there as well. But before we jump into that real quick, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a diet update. Okay, so lately I had been feeling like my digestion was just not great. And what I came to realize is that I hadn't really been hungry for a meal in quite some time. And what these signals are telling me is that my body is not processing the food in which I am putting into it properly. Of course, I want to still grow, but when I looked back at the diet I had been consuming and recalculated that bad boy back out, what I'd come to realize is that instead of being in like a 200, 300, 400, 500 calorie surplus like I would normally want to be on a daily basis, I was closer to probably a 700 to 1,000 calorie surplus based on my height, weight, maintenance calories, activity level, all that kind of fun stuff. Okay. The way I found that out, I check on, you can go on Google, type in calorie calculator. My recommendation would be to use 3. Take the average of those 3, and you're gonna at least have a relatively rough estimate of your maintenance calories. Okay, another easy way to track this, of course, is by tracking your weight, weighing in every week and all that kind of fun stuff, and checking, what your body weight is. If it's going down and you're eating what you think is a surplus, eat more. If it's going up, and it's going up like a pound or 2 a week, you're probably eating a little bit too much, okay? So for me, my goal was like 0.25 to about half pound a week or so. And I really believe that the diet I have gone to now will hit that. So I was well over 4,000 calories, or at least at that 4,000 calorie mark per day. Now we are at 3,700, a little over 3,700, I should say. Okay, so between 3,700 and 3,800 if I decide to have a little extra fruit in the evening, if I'm still having, if I'm still hungry or whatever. Okay, but base calories will be a little over 3,700. Okay, protein right now for me is sitting just below 300 grams. I believe if I'm being exact, it's at right about 296 grams per day. Carbs are sitting right about almost to the gram, 475 grams of carbs. So again, still a lot, dang near 500 grams of carbs. And then fats are sitting just over 60 grams, okay? So for me, I'm gonna run this diet for the rest of this week. I'm gonna run this diet for a full week next week, and track my weight, track how my digestion feels, track how my energy levels are, strength output, all that kind of fun stuff. Again, we are still in a caloric surplus. I calculated my maintenance calories out to be between the 3 in the mid 3,300 range, maybe low 3,400 range, being 5'11", about 206 pounds, and being 29 years old. That is, and based on my, exercise intensity, to where essentially it is, 6 to 7 days a week of hard exercise. That is where my maintenance calories calculated out to be. Okay. So with that being said, again, we're going to run this diet. This will put me in about a 300 to 400 calorie surplus per day, which is ideal. That's the ideal number. My digestion should not be super far off. The rate of fat gain compared to muscle gain should be dang near minimal. Again, we're not trying to jump up 2-3 pounds a week. I noticed there for a couple weeks, I was jumping up a couple pounds sometimes. That's too much. We're just about 20 pounds over stage weight right now, which isn't terrible, speaking that it's been almost 2 months since I competed, but I want to slow that rate of gain down, even out, trim some of the fat off, recomp a little bit, get my digestive system back in order, and go from there. Okay, here's what you need to keep in mind too. Remember, when you are in an off season, that does not mean that your food necessarily stays the same the whole time. As you gain weight, your maintenance calories are going to increase, which means if you want to continue to maintain gaining weight, you are going to need to bump calories a little bit more. Okay, it could be more carbs, it could be more fats, it could be more protein, whatever you want. Okay, so anyways, wanted to give that little recap real quick, just kind of let you guys know exactly where I'm at. I'm really hoping that will help tighten things up a little bit. Again, I just noticed in my physique even that there were some lines that were starting to get blurred that I don't want to see blurry. Even in peak off season, I don't want to see them get blurry. So just want to make sure that I am staying on top of my diet and making adjustments as needed. That's a big part of the off season. And not just prep, but definitely a huge part of the off season as well. Anyways, so today we are going to be starting out with some heel elevated barbell back squats. Last time we did squats, which was 2 weeks ago now, because we had our deload last week, so we don't do any squatting on deloads. We hit 275 for a nice clean set of 6, nice and deep, but touching those calves, getting really deep down in there, pausing in the bottom as well. So the goal this week would be to jump up to either 280 or 285 and either rep match that or at least hit like a set of 5, and then we can build that up from there. So anyways, top set of some heel elevated barbell squats post mobility work and getting the knees and joints and tendons and muscles and all that kind of warmed up. That top set of heel elevated barbell back squats coming at you right about now. As promised, some heel elevated barbell back squats again, guys. Top set here. Went up 10 pounds from last time we did these heel elevated barbell squats. Again, we're trying to sit those hamstrings down onto the calves, drive that butt down as far as we possibly can comfortably go. I'll tell you, this top set here, I look back at it, wasn't terrible, but I was driving up with the glutes a lot more than I would really like to. Again, getting nice and deep, which is great, but again, you can see I'm leaning forward a little bit. Glutes are taking a lot of that heat for sure, and I definitely want to make sure I remediate that. So with that being said, we are not going to add any more weight to this top set until we really clean that up, at least for the most part. Then we can slowly start to climb up again, but you gotta find that plateau to break it. That's my theory on it. So you have to you got to find where your body's saying, hey man, we got to clean this up, to then move past that plateau. So anyways, this was actually the back off set here, and this is more of what I'm talking about, okay? Felt much more firm, felt like my heels were driven in better to the actual 2x4. And so I felt like I could really get into a good spot here. Pace was what I liked, wasn't sitting at the top for too long. This was, 250? So this was another 5 pounds added on. And again, for these nice paused heel elevated barbell back squats, hey man, I was happy with it. So again, driving that butt down, sitting those hamstrings right onto the calves, sitting in the bottom at least for a moment, and then powering up hard. Last time we did a back off set of 245 and hit that for 8. So this time we did 250 and hit that for 9, and I was dang near about to hit 10. But thought I was going to pass out. So I was like, all right, well, we're gonna we're gonna adjust a little bit here. But again, making sure we keep that bar in a comfortable spot, driving those glutes down, sitting those hamstrings onto the calves. I know I've said that a bunch of times, but that's just an easy cue for you. Sitting in that fully stretched position at the bottom, at least for a moment. So we're not just touching the bottom and then shooting out. We are making sure that we're getting into the bottom and really feeling the burn, feeling that pain, man. That's the toughest part of the movement, okay? So again, sit there, and then come out hard. Good stuff. Then, this is my back off set. Again, I said it in my outro. My top set of hack squats, I noticed that my feet were it's a good problem to have, but my feet were a little too far down on the pad. So my heels were coming up more than I would have liked. I didn't really find a comfortable spot there. So I was a little thrown off there. I guess that's just, the problem for taking, a week off of hack squats for that deload. But, regardless, this was my back off set, which was 20 pounds heavier than the last time I did a back off set. So it was like, this was a back off set of 305. Last time the back off set was 285. This was arguably the best set of hack squats I ever did. Heels were glued to the pad, but you can see I'm getting a ton of knee flexion. The glutes were driving straight down. The little cue I used here just to kind of keep it, keep it simple for you guys and also for myself for the future, is I lined up my heels with my butt. I know it sounds simple, I know it sounds kind of goofy, but I talked about it in my outro as well. It was the easiest cue to remember, and I just lined up the back of my heels right with my butt cheeks, and it just kept me right in line for these hack squats, at least for how my hack squat is designed. So it felt great, felt a ton of power out of the bottom, just awesome quad pump out of this one. Felt really good on the knees too, which was nice. And again, I did a nice back off set of 12, so it was a top set of 8 at, 345, and then this back off set at 305 for 12. And this is by far the heaviest hack squat you guys will ever use. I promise you. I've used other hack squats and leg press combos. This is by far the heaviest hack squat I've ever used for sure. So, so that's cool. It's awesome. Like I said, this exercise is definitely making progress as I look like I'm, screaming, because I am. Anyways, then close foot leg press. This is in double speed here. We got 3 1/4 plates on. You'll see that I'm driving to the point where I'm, again, bringing those calves to the hamstrings, putting a ton of flexion on the quads. And again, you'd think, man, this has got to bug your knees, right? Wrong. No, not at all. If anything, since I've started doing these like this, where I brought the feet in a little bit closer, kept the toes kind of more straight instead of kind of like doing the duck stance and pointing them out, and making sure I'm finding a comfortable spot. This is, if anything, it feels better on my knees. I get a ton of quad stimulus for this. I know it's sped up, but sit in that stretch position at the bottom. So if it wasn't sped up, you'd be able to see that I'm literally sitting there and pausing completely in the hole and then driving up and through with the legs, with quads mainly. Again, we did 2 sets here. Usually I only do 1. We did 2 sets here. This was a set of 17, and then we kept the same weight on there and did it for 15. So it was a blast, but man, I was cooked, as the kids would say nowadays. I was absolutely cooked after this set, and especially after this exercise. So we ended with something just to kind of push that last little bit of blood into the muscle. We have a single leg extensions here. What I'm doing here, and it's very hard to tell from this angle, but this was a cue I got from John Jewett. What I'm doing is I'm actually turning my toes in towards the weight a little bit. So what that does is it forces your knee to rotate inward a little bit and actually keeps your leg straight. Because if you do leg extensions, a lot of the times you're going to hit that rectus femoris, so that kind of that top part of the quad, and then also the teardrop quite a bit. But if you do this, you're going to really blast that entire quad, at least not exclude a lot of that outer sweep. So I really like this exercise. Again, I do have a regular regular leg extension in my hamstring and glute day that's loaded quite a bit heavier as well, because of I'm actually using a leg extension machine rather than an attachment here. So this thing is heavy as all crap. But we do have 2 working sets of that on our hamstring and glute day. So then ended here with a little bit of calves. A couple cues for you here. This is called a toe press. I did this in my, I did a machine version of this on Sunday, along with my Smith calf raises. So I did an additional 4 working sets here of toe press. Again, what I'm trying to do is essentially press with the toes. That's kind of the best way I can describe it. So we're loading a lot of weight on the toes, really sitting in that stretched position, at least for a moment right there, and then powering up through and pulsing through, getting a nice range of motion without going super, super crazy. No crazy hold at the top of the motion when those toes are pointed, really focusing more on the stretch than anything. So we did 3 working sets at 325, all within that 10 to 15 rep range will do you just fine. So that about wraps it. I got quite the outro coming for you, a little bit of ranting, a little bit of motivation. Hopefully you stay tuned in for that. I will catch y'all in just a second. Leg A workout complete, quads blasted, post-workout meal consumed. Man, we are on the way home to rest for a little bit, and we do still have cardio. Still got a half-hour cardio, but we're gonna get a little rest in before that, probably another meal as well. I'll do my cardio in between meals 5 and 6, so I got a couple hours in between, to let the body start to recover a little bit and go from there, kind of refuel a little bit. Man, I'll tell you what, I'll be transparent with you guys. Just have had some little things nagging me outside of the gym, little things around the house, relationships, all this kind of stuff, just little things, life things. And man, sometimes the best therapy for that is just getting under a bar and just going down and questioning if you're going to be able to get back up. I know my top set of squats wasn't perfect. Top set of hack squats, my feet could have been a little higher, so I got a little bit better depth or whatever. But man, it felt good having some heavy weight on my back, going down as low as I can go and coming back up. That kind of stuff, I'll tell you, I think therapy is great, and I think mental health is even arguably more important than physical health on so many levels. But man, I'll tell you what, if you are questioning things in your life, here's some things I would recommend. Drink a little bit more water, eat just a little bit healthier, and don't miss a workout. You go to the gym 2 days a week, start going 3 or 4 days a week. You go to the gym 4 days a week, start going 5-6 times a week. You don't do cardio, start doing cardio twice a week. You do a little bit of cardio, maybe do a little bit more. There are some things that I have found in my life that keep me from just going over this imaginary edge and just losing my stuff sometimes. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I get upset. I'm a human being, man. I think it'd be weird if you didn't show emotions. I'm not a robot like that. If you don't show emotions, that's weird. It means you're bottling a lot of stuff up, man. But man, that felt good. It's exactly what I needed. You can probably tell in my video yesterday, I was just, being a little hard on myself. I had let loose on my diet for a couple days. Didn't miss a meal, but just added some extra stuff in and just didn't digest well and just felt off and all this. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. We're getting our diet on point, which we did. Check. We're going in and we're going to absolutely blast quads, which we did. Check. Okay? And now, guess what? I'm feeling at least a little bit better. Maybe not perfect, but there's that old adage of fake it till you make it. And you know what? I think there's some truth behind that. Because if you're going to sit there and wallow and your brain's just going to sit there the whole time and be like, well, hey, what about this? And what about that? And it's like, well, yeah, but what about squats? You know what I mean? What about some incline plate-loaded press? Yeah? What about some lat pull-downs? That's what I care more about. You kidding? Those problems will be, you're always going to have something going on. There's always going to be something to fix, always a project to do, always somewhere to be, and always someone else to please. But you got to put yourself first sometimes, and when you're in that gym, it is you and you only. I don't care if there's 150 other people and you can't even get on a machine. It is you and you only. You versus you, you cheering on you. That's it. That's it, man. That's a simple fact. Okay? Man, that felt good. It did. Again, little imperfections here and there, but guess what? You work on them. You work on them. I'll tell you that. Like I said, especially after yesterday's workout where I just couldn't connect. And back is usually a muscle group I connect very well with. So it was kind of like, what's going on? We're back at it now. We're good to go. Got a nice heavy push session tomorrow. Can't wait. Early morning pumps. Great way to start the day. Best way to start the day. There's two things I love to do in the morning. Either option's great. Either fasted cardio or a good hard workout. Either one. You accomplish one of those two things and then do the other one later on, man, you're going to have a great day. You could wake up in the morning, do your cardio, have the worst day at work ever, and then you go and hit a PR in the gym. That whatever was going on at work, who cares? We're freaks. I'll tell you, man, iron therapy is honestly, it's so amazing. It's wonderful, man. Getting that blood flow, getting into the gym, you versus you, and you beat that previous version of you, and that previous version of you gives you a pat on the back and is like, heck yeah, man, that was awesome. Ain't nothing better. Anyways, I'm ranting on here. Semi-motivational post-workout rant. Okay? Make sure you like and share the video. Drop a comment below. I got some things in the works to kind of change up some of my video styles just a little bit. Just a little bit. I know I have a relatively devout following, so I don't want to do anything crazy for my followers who are dropping those likes, watching every day. Hey, man, I appreciate you. For those who are new to the channel, hey, man, welcome. I appreciate you hopping on, checking me out, okay? If you don't want to come back, hey, don't worry about coming back. If you don't want to subscribe, don't. But if you do, you're helping a brother out. You don't have to. But hey, why not? Do it. You won't. You won't. Okay? More progress pictures to come, physique updates, maybe a little bit of posing here and there. Again, just kind of some different things to add into the videos as we progress forward in this off season. So I believe this is our third episode of the road to Natty Pro. It potentially will be a relatively long road, man. It really will be. But we're on it, and that's all that matters. If you ever have a goal, hop on that road and you just keep plugging forward till you get to that goal, and then you're going to be on another road after that. Okay, so I'm on this road right now, and I am traversing it as effectively and efficiently as I can. I don't know when it's going to end, but for now, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just riding along, having fun, working hard. The absolutely. Anyways, join me tomorrow. Again, got a good heavy push workout going on. Early morning session. That'll be our fourth episode of the road to Natty Pro. Fourth of many to come. Hey, God bless. For today, I'm the Natty Teacher, and this episode of Road to the Natty Pro is out. I will catch y'all tomorrow pretty early on.